You can't save democracy with half a spine. Brothers and sisters, I hear the call rising across this country. Strike to save democracy. Strike to stop election theft. Strike to defend the vote. And I say amen to defending the vote. But let me ask you something that might rattle the pews. What good is saving democracy if democracy is already starving to death? What good is protecting the ballot box if the system behind that ballot box keeps grinding working people into dust? You don't save a burning house by polishing the mailbox out front. You save it by putting out the fire eating through the walls. We have been told over and over again that if we just win the next election, if we just stop the next strongman, if we just survive the next crisis, everything will be all right. But look around you. How many next crises have we survived already? How many times has this country limped back from the edge only to drift right back toward it again? That ain't bad luck. That is rot. Now, history teaches something powerful if we've got the courage to listen. There was a time in this country when workers were crushed. Banks collapsed. Families starved. Old people died in poverty after working their whole lives. And the American people rose up like thunder rolling across the plains. Farmers blocked roads. Workers shut down factories. Veterans marched on Washington. And the powerful trembled long enough to do something rare in human history. They shared power. That was the New Deal. That was Social Security, labor protections, financial guardrails, worker dignity written into law. That was America rebuilding itself before it broke apart. But hear this warning. Power never sleeps. Power never forgets. Power waits. And for 45 long years, those protections have been peeled away layer by layer, like vultures picking clean the bones of a promise. Wages frozen, jobs shipped away, corporate money flooding government like a poisoned river. And now we stand shocked that the ground beneath us is cracking? We shouldn't be shocked. We should be honest. Because election interference is not the disease. It is the fever. It is the symptom of a system that has been running a political civil war inside itself for generations. The founders of this nation warned about factional warfare. They feared political parties turning government into a battlefield instead of a governing body. And look at Congress today. It is not a legislature. It is trench warfare with microphones. It is sabotage dressed up as patriotism. It is leaders chosen for loyalty to party instead of loyalty to country. So if we're going to strike, if we're going to bring this nation to its knees to demand change, then for the love of everything sacred to democracy, we had better demand more than election protection. We had better demand structural resurrection. We need a nonpartisan Speaker of the House. Say it again until it sounds normal. Nonpartisan Speaker of the House. We need committee chairs chosen for competence, not party obedience. Because you cannot fix a broken system with leaders whose job depends on keeping the system broken. You cannot expect cooperation from a government built on permanent political war. That is not governance. That is slow-motion national suicide. And let me say something plain enough for every worker listening. Working people do not just deserve to survive. Working people deserve to thrive. A living wage keeps you breathing. A thriving wage lets you build a life, lets you raise children without fear, lets you retire without terror, lets communities stand strong instead of collapsing into desperation. When workers thrive, nations thrive. History proves it, economics proves it, common sense proves it. But when wealth piles higher and higher into fewer and fewer hands, nations crack. They grow angry. They grow unstable. They grow vulnerable to demagogues promising easy answers to complicated pain. That is the road every fallen republic has walked, every single one. So if this country is headed toward a national strike, let it not be a panic reaction. Let it be a reckoning. Let it be the moment working Americans say, no more temporary repairs, no more emergency bandages, no more saving democracy just long enough to watch it decay again. Let it be a demand for rebuilding democracy so strong, so fair, so stable, that our grandchildren never have to fight this same battle again. Because we are living in what history will call the return to problems later era. The generation that inherited FDR's reforms enjoyed the harvest, but failed to maintain the fences, and now the wolves are back in the field. This is the test every generation eventually faces. Do we preserve what was built for us? Do we rebuild it stronger? Or do we let it collapse while arguing about who gets blamed? There is no neutral ground in moments like this. There never has been. So yes, protect the vote, stand against corruption, strike if you must. But if you shut this country down, make sure you're not just saving democracy's heartbeat. Make sure you are saving its soul. Because a democracy that cannot deliver dignity to its people will not stay a democracy for long. History has already written that sermon, and history never preaches twice for the same congregation.